Today, Huawei unveiled its new Nova 12 series, which surprisingly includes 4 members. We are talking about the Huawei Nova 12 Lite to start with. We also have the Huawei Nova 12, Huawei Nova 12 Pro, and finally Huawei Nova 12 Ultra. Let me tell you all about them. The most basic model features a flat design on the back and front covers, but it still has a very nice finish in blue and white colors, somewhat reminiscent of the back cover design of the Huawei P60 Pro. We also find ultra-reduced bezels on the front with a central cutout for the front camera. The most remarkable thing about this device is that it is only 6.88 millimeters thick and weighs 168 grams, making it one of the lightest devices on the market. Its screen is OLED 6.7 inches with a full HD Plus resolution, 2412 by 1084 pixels to be exact. The processor is Snapdragon 778G in a 4G edition, so not too surprising, but it should be remembered that this is just the most basic member of the whole series. What is surprising is that it comes in versions of 256 or up to 512 gigabytes of storage. And in the photographic section, we will find the main camera of 50 megapixels with aperture f1.9 and then an ultra-wide-angle camera with autofocus that at the same time would function as a macro camera with 8 megapixels and aperture f2.2. The front camera is 60 megapixels, offering a very high resolution as it is a tradition in all Nova series devices but with an f2.4 aperture. The battery is 4500 milliamps and supports a charge of up to 66 watts, but it is the second version of Huawei's Supercharge with which they assure that it reaches 60% in only 15 minutes. There is no doubt that it is one of the most attractive devices today, and its launch price in China is 2,499 yuan. That is approximately $350, so it can easily become one of the best options to buy in the next year if it is launched globally. Although remember that the prices here are not the same as over there. Let's talk now about the Huawei Nova 12, since this device has a very similar design to the Lite model, that is a flat cover both on the back and on the front with very tiny bezels, but with the difference of integrating the Kirin 8000 processor, although this processor, like the one that integrates the Lite model, only has support for connectivity 4G. The battery is 4600 mAh and reaches a fast charge of 100 watts. In addition, in China it comes with satellite connectivity, and that would be the main difference with respect to the Lite model, since in the rest of specifications they are very similar devices, in both cases with 120 Hz screens in their refresh rate. The price of this device in its most basic edition, which is 256 gigabytes, is 2,999 yuan. That is approximately $420, although remember that the prices here are not the same as over there. Now let me tell you all about the Pro model, which includes a curved front and back cover design, and in this case a wide pill-shaped cutout to store 2 front cameras there. It also includes satellite connectivity in China, and on the back cover we find a finish very similar to what we saw in past versions, but now adds a pink edition with this pattern very pleasing to the eye. Its weight is 201 grams and has a thickness of 7.68 millimeters. Its screen is 6.76 inches with OLED technology, and it also has LTPO technology. That is, it can go from 1 to 120 Hz to show you very fluid movements and also save battery in static contents. The resolution is also Full HD Plus, and it also comes in versions of 256 or 512 gigabytes of storage. Another big difference from its smaller siblings is the main camera, which is 50 megapixels. But in this case, it has variable aperture, like what Huawei incorporated for the first time in its high-end series devices. This camera can vary its aperture from f1.4 to f4.0, having the ability to enter more or less light and vary the depth of field to achieve more professional photographs. The second camera is an 8 megapixel wide-angle f2.2 aperture with autofocus, so it also functions as a macro camera. However, we don't have any specialized zoom camera on this device. The main front camera is 60 megapixels with f2.4 aperture and autofocus. And on the other hand, we have the 8 megapixel camera that will be used for portraits with f2.2 aperture and also autofocus. So it offers us 2x optical zoom to have another style of photographs and give more capabilities to the user. The battery is 4600 milliamps with support for 100 watt charging, super fast Huawei, and incorporates the Kirin 8000 processor, which does have support for 5G networks plus 12 gigabytes of RAM. The price of this device is 3,999 yuan in its most basic edition. That is approximately $560. But as I always tell you, remember that the prices here are not the same as over there. Finally, let's talk about the Ultra model, which has as its main feature its back cover embossed with the Nova monogram in a synthetic leather edition. It is also lighter, having a weight of 198 grams and a thickness of 7.88 millimeters. Another difference will be that the most basic edition has 512 gigabytes of storage, and there is an edition that goes up to 1 terabyte. However, the photographic system is exactly the same, with no specialized zoom camera, and that is probably its weakest point. The front cameras are exactly the same, the battery and charging is exactly the same as the Pro model, but another difference will be the processor, which in this model is the Kirin 9000 SL, a new processor that has slightly less power than the Kirin 9000, but there is no doubt that they are very high quality processors. The price of the most basic model of this device is 4,699 yuan, or approximately $660, although remember that prices here are not the same as over there. Remember that these devices have been launched and presented in China, and it is expected that in the next year they will be launched globally in many more countries. For the moment, we have reached the end of this video. If you liked it, you know you can indicate it, and we'll see you next time.